Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're basically transforming your standard safety protocols into a high-stakes survival guide for the modern commercial driver. You know as well as I do that operating a massive commercial vehicle isn't just about steering a truck from point A to point B. Not even close. You are navigating this incredibly unpredictable, fast-moving environment, and you're surrounded by everyday drivers who honestly don't really grasp the sheer physics of the 80,000-pound machine you're commanding. So today, we're going to focus on truly mastering that environment through elite situational awareness and building a bulletproof understanding of the law.
Okay, let's just do a quick look at our roadmap for today. First up, spotting hidden road hazards. Second, the high price of distraction. And third, de-escalating road rage. Let's get right into it.
Before we even hit the gas, we have to ask ourselves this absolutely critical question. What exactly is the difference between a hazard and an emergency? I ask because the answer is literally the foundation of elite situational awareness. Think about it for a second. Most people just use these words interchangeably, right? But in the world of professional commercial driving, blurring the lines between those two concepts is exactly what gets people hurt. Section 1. Spotting hidden road hazards. Okay, so here's the deal. A hazard is just a possible danger. If you see a car ahead, headed for an off-ramp, and suddenly their brake lights flash, that right there is a hazard. They might be confused, they might swerve back into your lane. But an emergency? That's when that hazard actually requires sudden evasive action. If that driver suddenly cuts directly in front of you, well, that hazard just evolved into a full-blown emergency. The crucial point here, the absolute secret to defensive driving, is spotting that hazard early enough so that when it does become an emergency, you've already got an escape plan dialed in, like a safe lane change or a controlled reduction in speed, because as we all know, slamming on the brakes with a heavy load is just a massive recipe for disaster. So let's play detective for a second and look at the subtle clues that give away someone's next erratic move. Take the confused tourist, for example. If you see out-of-state plates, a bunch of car-top luggage, or someone driving painstakingly slow and tapping their brakes for no apparent reason, they're probably lost, right? They're looking for a street sign. You can totally expect them to make a wild lane change. But then, on the flip side, look at the clues for an impaired driver, whether they're drunk, exhausted, or ill. Weaving is the obvious one, but stopping at a green light? That is a massive red flag. And check out that last point, an open window in the dead of winter. Why would someone do that? Well, because they are desperately trying to stay awake. Spotting these clues early on means you can just back off and give these wild cards plenty of space. And hey, you also have to watch out for external distractions. You know what it's like out there. People walking around with noise-canceling headphones, staring down at their screens, standing inches away from moving traffic. They can't hear you, and they definitely aren't looking for you. On rainy days, it gets even worse. Umbrellas and hats block their vision, and they're just rushing to get out of the weather, completely oblivious to a massive truck bearing down on them. You've also got to watch out for blocked vision scenarios. Say a delivery driver is in a huge rush, their packages are stacked high, blocking their view, and they just step right out into the lane. Basically, if you can only see the back of a parked vehicle but not the driver, you just have to assume they have zero visibility of you and might pull out at any second. Moving right along to Section 2, the high price of distraction. Now, let's talk about federal law, because they literally leave zero wiggle room here. If you are holding a phone to read a web page or tap out a message, you are violating strict compliance regulations. Texting isn't just about sending an SMS to your buddy anymore. The federal motor carrier safety regulations define texting as manually entering or reading text from any electronic device. So, checking your email, pulling up a website, using a messenger app, if you're doing any of this while operating a commercial motor vehicle, you are flat out breaking federal law. And the penalties? Oh man, they are specifically designed to absolutely crush anyone who breaks this rule. Ouch. Just let that number sink in for a second. $2,750. That is the severe civil penalty you, the driver, face for the first and each subsequent violation of using a handheld mobile device. That is straight out of your pocket, and it goes way beyond just a fine, actually. If you are convicted of violating any state law on handheld phone use or texting while driving a CMV 2 or more times, your commercial driver's license gets disqualified. 2 offenses within 3 years? That's a 60-day disqualification. 3 offenses? You literally lose your livelihood for 120 days. And wait, it gets crazier. The stakes multiply for your employer. They face up to $11,000 in penalties if they require or even just allow you to use a handheld phone. See, the federal government isn't just going after the driver, they are holding the entire company accountable. No motor carrier can allow or require its drivers to engage in texting or handheld phone use.
This massive penalty is there to ensure that your dispatchers and managers absolutely cannot pressure you to answer texts or calls while you're behind the wheel. The only exception, and I mean the only exception, is a legitimate emergency where you have to communicate with law enforcement or emergency services. To put this danger into perspective, the math here is truly terrifying. Dialing a phone takes your eyes off the road for an average of 3.8 seconds. At 55 miles per hour, that equates to driving the entire length of a football field, completely blind. Research shows that just the simple act of dialing makes a commercial driver 6 times more likely to be involved in a safety-critical event, like a crash or unintentionally drifting out of your lane. People always think, oh, it just takes a split second to dial, but the data says otherwise. At highway speeds, your truck essentially becomes a 306-foot unguided missile. And texting? It's even worse. It pulls your focus for an average of 4.6 seconds and makes you a staggering 23.2 times more likely to be involved in a critical event. Texting is considered the absolute worst distraction because it's the whole shebang. It's a physical, visual, and mental distraction all at the exact same time. Your hands are off the wheel, your eyes are off the road, and your brain is miles away from the task of driving. At 55 miles per hour, those 4.6 seconds translate to 371 feet of blind driving. That's well over a football field. If a hazard pops up in that distance, there is no way you're even seeing it in time to touch the brakes. All right, on to our final section, Section 3, de-escalating road rage. So we really need to distinguish between a frustrated driver taking risks and a malicious driver intending to use their vehicle as a literal weapon. Aggressive driving, that's the selfish, bold, pushy stuff. It's that person rapidly weaving through traffic or riding your bumper because they overslept and they're stressed out. Sure, they are dangerous, but their ultimate goal was just to get ahead of you. Road rage, though, that is a completely different beast. Road rage is operating a vehicle with the direct intent to do physical harm or assault you. It's an actual criminal act of violence. Understanding this difference is absolutely crucial to knowing exactly what kind of threat you're dealing with. So how do we deal with this? Well, you have to maintain a sort of Zen-like discipline by controlling your own stress long before you ever turn the key. Defensive driving truly starts in your own head. The roads are going to be crowded, delays are 100% inevitable, and people are going to make incredibly stupid mistakes. If you go into it expecting a perfectly smooth trip, you are just setting yourself up to be furious. Be realistic about your travel times. If a car cuts you off, try to give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they really didn't see you, or maybe they're rushing to the hospital. Whatever their reason is, it's not about you. And this is vital. Keep your hands on the wheel. Avoid making any gestures at all. Seriously, even just shaking your head in annoyance can be the exact spark that turns an aggressive driver into a full-blown road rage incident. Now, if you are confronted, these 4 steps are your absolute, non-negotiable, professional conflict resolution tactics to protect your life and your rig. First, do whatever you can to safely get out of their way. Number 2, and I know this is the hardest one for a lot of veteran drivers, put your pride in the back seat. Do not challenge them. Don't speed up to block them or try to hold your ground in the travel lane. Third, avoid eye contact entirely. Looking at them can instantly be perceived as a direct challenge. And fourth, ignore all their gestures. Just refuse to react. If you can do it safely, or if you've got a hands-free setup running, call the police. Give them the vehicle description and direction of travel and let law enforcement handle the maniacs. So I'll leave you with this final thought. Commercial driving isn't just about maneuvering heavy machinery. It's about elite discipline. You are the ultimate professional out there on the road. You have to anticipate the hazards that everyone else completely misses. You have to strictly obey the federal laws that keep us all safe, and you must possess the mental fortitude to just walk away from a conflict. Honestly, that is what separates someone who just happens to hold a license from a true elite professional. So the next time you grab your keys, ask yourself, are you simply steering a truck, or have you truly mastered the environment around it?